Oh, no. What's up, guys? Welcome into the 2024 NFL Draft Preview. Very excited. Very excited. Year 9, since this specific thing happened with Larry Tunsil. Still funny. Still funny. Anyway, we're just very excited to start the show. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I'm going to bring in a special guest. You guys might have seen him before. Get in here. Look at who it is, guys. Gracing us with his presence.
Team.
Right. What's that?
I want to wear the gas mask.
I don't know how to do that. That took a lot of work in Canva. All right. So for those of you joining us, we did this. We started this yesterday, and we'll continue it. Just a daily version of the podcast, Fourth and Wrong Daily, as you can see from the what do you call it? If you guys have suggestions on what we should be doing for the background colors and branding, I've overthought it. I'll admit it. It doesn't really matter, but that's where we are. All right, let's get into it. We got Tyler Huck and yours truly, Chris Marler. We're watching live. We're an hour to go, less than an hour to go until the NFL draft starts, round 1 of the 2024 NFL draft. This is like our favorite content of the year, man. What's up, Jeff Williams? Or at least for me, like I love the prop bets that we do for the Super Bowl stuff, but this is so much fun. Like we talk about it a bunch. We're going to talk about it again. What's your favorite prop bet you've ever made? Because it's one of my favorite ones that's ever happened.
So the year of COVID, when everyone was getting drafted from home, which now it kind of feels like it's kind of weird. Some of these guys like prefer to just stay at home when they get drafted, even if they're going to be a first round pick. But it was how many cats? It was like over under 1.5 cats shown on TV when someone was drafted. I went over. And we nailed it. Tristan Wirfs had like 3 cats.
Yeah.
We nailed it with 1 draft pick.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites as well. As you can hear in the background, guys, Pepper's here. Hold on. Take us away for a second.
Okay. Excited for tonight. I know the Falcons will probably screw it up somehow. Been seeing some pretty interesting rumors about the Falcons potentially trading with the Rams. And the Rams trading Cooper Kupp to the Falcons. Don't know if that's true. All these Twitter rumors you get at the final hour before the draft are insane. But I think the theme for the draft that I've seen is a lot of trades are expected. A lot of people want to move up for wide receivers, offensive linemen, and QBs. So with that being said, even though you didn't put it on our graphic, I love the over 5.5 QBs selected in the first round.
So I was going to put the numbers at 4.5. I couldn't find the odds. I was using Bovada, but like I couldn't find the odds on 5.5. I don't, because I don't think Bo Nix goes in the first round. But I will say this: that was when I made the graphic. That was my thought, was that Bo Nix is not going to go in the first round. I feel like we've seen him mocked all over the place. Is he a first round talent? I don't know. But
probably
then,
not.
like about 30 minutes ago, our buddy Graham Coffey posted today that within the last hour, his odds to go in the first round have plummeted, or maybe skyrocketed, however you want to phrase it, down to minus 180. So you might be right. Penix going in the first round is kind of surprising to me. I just because he's so old, but this isn't baseball. We've seen there's not as much of an issue or a red flag with guys that are older just because they're older.
How old is he? What, 23?
He's got to be 24. He's a 6-year COVID kid.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
think about that. You could get 10, 12 years out of him. I mean, I wouldn't like Kirk Cousins. The Falcons just gave him however many millions of dollars, and he's 35, and he can't move at all.
Let's talk about that for a second, because this is one of my favorite things about doing this show now, is that like before the main show that we do once a week in the off season, twice a week in the regular season, every Monday night you guys tune in, the live show 8 to 8:30 on YouTube, all that good stuff. But one of my favorite things about doing this is that we can talk about whatever we want to. Both of us have been, whatever the opposite of blessed is, to be lifelong Falcons fans. And I will just tell you this. I have a prop bet with them that they are going to draft Dallas Turner first. I fully believe it in my heart of hearts. They are not going to do the wrong thing. If they took Latu from UCLA, I would be fine with that. I think he's a great prospect. You could make the case he's better from a production standpoint, despite the injuries, than Dallas Turner.
I actually like Byron Murphy better than both, but
okay.
I'd be fine with all three. I think you get Latu later.
Dude,
I think you're going to be right, though. I think they're going to draft Turner unless they trade down.
If they take a G5 cornerback, and me, you, and our old producer Dan Matthews have joked about this forever. The Falcons, the most Falcons thing they can do every single fucking year is you're in a position to go get a dude from Georgia, a dude from the SEC, a dude from the ACC, some big name prospect from a very good tradition-rich school, and they go out and get some shit from like Pacific Northwest. And if they go up and get Quinion Mitchell, I will yeet myself into traffic. He's currently here are the current odds on the number 8 overall pick. Dallas Turner is plus 200, Latu plus 230. So it does feel like they're going to go edge rusher there. Brock Bowers has the third best odds at plus 400. I would be ecstatic over that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It'd be awesome to have Bowers on the team, but I mean, so you go Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and then another tight end in the first round, dude. That'd be crazy. I'd rather, like, if they're going to do that, I'd rather them go, because it seems like one of the top 3 receivers are going to drop. If my hope of all hopes is that Neighbors somehow people start drafting up and Neighbors falls to the Falcons, I would love for that to happen. And I would go after a receiver because they have Drake London, and then they signed Darrell Mooney as their number 2, which is fine, but I think he's a better 3.
Yeah.
So if you could plug in Neighbors, and then if Neighbors isn't there, I prefer they draft Murphy or trade back. Because to me, I think there's not a huge difference between Turner, Verse, and Latu. So if you could trade back and get one of them, I'd rather have Latu or Turner. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'd be totally fine to pick up more picks and get Verse at like 20 if he was there.
For some reason, my internet is, of course, shit. But anyway, welcome to the chat, Jeff Williams, Dakota, Eddie Booza. We appreciate you guys joining us. All right, so we made a graphic earlier today about our favorite bets. And now listen, we're less than an hour away, so some of this needs to be updated. I put this in a couple days ago as JJ McCarthy to go 4th overall. I thought it was a good bet. Those numbers have changed a bunch. Your slotted picks right here is from what you have. Hold on a second.
Here, I put that up.
Yeah. Why does it look like that?
I don't know how to make it not look like that.
Okay, that's fine. It's very, very blurry. But so Tyler has Trey Benson. Now, to be clear, he does not think it's going to happen tonight. Byron Murphy, the first defensive player drafted at plus 170. J.C. Latham is an interesting one because J.C. Latham is, I think, I could be wrong. Bama fans don't come after me because I am one. I don't think he's that great. I don't think he's a top 15 pick. But if you look at the numbers, again, from this, and this is Vegas always knows, right? Jaden Daniels, for instance, he was minus 300 yesterday to go number 2. He's at minus 6,000. Jaden Daniels is a done deal to go to Washington. You keep scrolling down here and you go to 5, and that's where the Chargers have a pick. Their best odds of who they're going to take, J.C. Latham at plus 225 and J.J. McCarthy at plus 250. Yowzers.
Wow.
Like, because I've heard nothing but Joe Alt being like the guy at tackle. So J.C. Latham, though, having the best odds there is very surprising because all I've seen mocked so far is him at around like 14 to 18. And now we're talking about him being a top 5.
Yeah, so a couple guys that I like following for this stuff, obviously your main ones like Jeremiah and McShay and all those guys, but Josh Norris on Underdog usually does a really good job too. A lot of them have J.C. Latham going to the Chargers at 5 if they don't trade out as the first. So, right now as the odds, I took my odds from DraftKings. They had Latham as the second best odds to go first overall, obviously Joe Alt being number 1. So I thought that was good value because it sounds like a lot of people are hearing that Harbaugh really likes Latham.
Right.
Got to go up against him last year, so you got firsthand knowledge. Turner is the first defensive player as far as best odds off the board. But I've been hearing a lot about Byron Murphy moving up a ton over the last couple of weeks. Difference maker on the interior, which I don't think there's a lot of great interior players in this draft. So I thought that was a pretty. I've heard the Falcons may be interested in taking him at 8. So I don't think any defensive player is going to go ahead of that before the Falcons pick.
That's fair.
It's kind of a good year to need defense, because it seems like the whole first round is basically offensive players.
Well, and we talked about this in the last episode of like the main show, and you brought it up that like there's a little bit of a shift in terms of what's most important. Like in the past, we've seen quarterbacks, left tackle, and then edge rusher, right? And now you talk about like the most important parts of or things to draft. Receiver. There's 21 first round receivers taken in the last 4 drafts, which was the most, I believe, for any non-quarterback position in the entire draft. So there's a lot of them here. I'm excited to see because the last 4 picks are very, very interesting. You talk about like the Chiefs. I believe the Eagles are back there. I don't have it in front of me, but the Chiefs.
The Niners apparently they're looking because of the way that their capital or their cap is structured. They may have to trade one of Ayuk or Debo.
Right.
And so there's thought that they may take a receiver back at the back end of the draft.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, like we know in some sort of order, it would probably be Marvin Harrison, Odunze, and Neighbors. But then that second tier, which is like A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman, like that tier, that second tier, I'll be interested to see. Because if we're always surprised / not surprised when there's more quarterbacks taken in the first round than we thought,
right?
Maybe receivers becoming that position where people will draft up to get a receiver because these guys, when you get drafted in the first round, the team gets that extra year to get your contract on that rookie contract. Yeah. These receivers are getting paid so much damn money when they get off their rookie contract. So you may see some of these receivers get traded up for in the back half of the first round.
Yeah,
I'd like to see does Bovada have a first round receivers?
Yeah, they do. Also, again, and I am keyed into this one thing, Tyler, and it's JJ McCarthy, and it's partially because now I'm having to double down on everything. Yesterday I had it at plus 350. Put down something small on that, and that is that like plus 350 is not bad. And I posted the graphic yesterday. We don't have it in here, of course, but like it was just fascinating to me because if you look at his numbers, okay, it's from a single day ago. It was plus like 6,000 to go first, and then you look like 2, it was like plus 550, and then 3 through 6, it was between plus 350 and like plus 475 or something like that, right? Anything over 6 was, I think it started at plus 2,000. Anything over 6, and now you look at it right now. The current update on it has JJ McCarthy over under 5.5 is under that is plus 185, but him to go in the top 10 is minus 1,200. So I don't know. That's a trade-up situation. You brought up the receivers thing. Let's get back to that, and I'll stop talking about the one thing that I have bet on here.
There is rumors that the Giants have interest in McCarthy at 6. No trade, just take him straight up. There's rumors, obviously, that dude, I could easily see. I don't have a good feel on McCarthy stuff because I could easily see McCarthy being the guy that we always see that shows up for the draft and has to sit through the entire first round and not get drafted. I don't know if it'll be that, but I could see him going later than even on Jeremiah's latest mock draft, he has him going. The Vikings taking him at 11 straight up, not having to trade up for him.
So back to what you said, you brought the receivers, and that may be the thing that happens the most, man. Is he just goes directly where he's slotted because no one needs to trade up and there's no panic involved in this year. It seems like for the top 5 picks, everyone is kind of slated or slotted to where it's like we know what we need is available. We're just going to go from there. And there's also some generational guys there's the Cardinals. There's no reason for them to really trade and not get Marvin Harrison at 4. You know what I mean? So, all right. So total receivers, we could do this position by position. This is again from Bovada, and it's position by position for total blank select in the first round. You brought up receivers. Right now, it's over 6.5. It's plus 300 for over, minus 500 for under. I don't think that's a bad idea to take a flyer there because of the fact.
What's the number?
6.5.
Okay, so you got the top 3. Then you've got Brian Thomas. You've got A.D. Mitchell. You've got
Xavier Worthy,
and you've got Ladd. I think those are probably the 8 that have the chance.
Yeah.
I don't think Ladd will go in the first, but you could see the others because there's been some late talk on Worthy. You know, he set the record at the combine for the fastest speed ever. Got to look at the Raiders at 12 for Xavier or 13 for Xavier.
Yeah. I think after he ran that, I put out the video of that MacGruber. Remember MacGruber, the movie, when he's like fucking the corpse at the what do you call it? at the cemetery. I was like, this is Al Davis. The moment like he sees this. No, so wide receivers like under 6.5. That seems like it's pretty solid there. Quarterbacks is over 4.5. It's minus 500.
I'd go over.
Yeah, hammer that.
Minus 500.
The juice is pretty bad. So total offensive.
If you could, do you have the ability to do alt line on that? Because I'd go over 5.5.
You can't. I don't see it at least. Let's see here. First defensive player taken. Dallas Turner is now. What do you call it? The juice is now on him at minus 135. He's the only player with that. Let's see. Total cornerback selected in the first round over 5.5. The under is at minus 520. Total defensive linemen. The number is at 6.5. Kind of good betting on both sides here. You've got over plus 175, under minus 250. Total defensive players taken in the first round over 10.5. Is at minus 175. Under is at plus 135. I kind of like that. Total offensive linemen. Under? Yeah.
Yeah, the O-line is supposed to be. What's the O-line number? Like 9.5?
9.5.
Yeah, I know. I've heard at least 8 are going in the first round.
That's insane.
Yeah. Then you got the center from Oregon that might sneak in late. But yeah, you've got. I think O-line, receiver, and quarterback will probably have the most.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And the total offensive players over 21.5. That's, kind of shocking. Are there any? They have matchups here as well. Is there anything you like there? I will say that one of the things.
Where do they have Latu in the matchups?
Let me pull it up here.
I think Latu
by the position they will get picked. I'm gonna see if they have Latu versus Byron Murphy. Latu is plus 155. Murphy minus 220.
Yeah, I think Murphy will go first.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I'll tell you, this one's interesting to me. A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Worthy. I like A.D. Mitchell to go ahead of him, but it's plus money on it, plus 200.
Really?
Xavier Worthy is minus 300. I think there's probably some good value there. Neighbors and Odunze is very surprising because even when you just casually mentioned it, you said it's probably not like that big of a difference in the order. Neighbors is minus 350. Odunze is plus 225. Penix and Bo Nix. Quinny Mitchell, Troy Fontenot.
I actually, if we go back to that, I think so. From what I've read from a lot of people, is that the Giants prefer Odunze over Neighbors.
Okay.
So if it gets to their pick, I think they're going to go Odunze. So that might be a decent pick. What was that? That was pretty good odds, right?
Yeah. It was. Hold on. Neighbors. Yeah, that is a lot of value there. Plus 225.
Add it to T-Hawk's big board. Odunze over Neighbors plus 225. Let's do that.
I like that.
I like that pick.
Top 5 pick. Yeah, these
real quick while you're going through that, David Fox says if 4 QBs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 O-lineman go in the top 7, don't the Falcons have to take the third receiver? I think they do. I think if you can get one of those receivers, I know it's crazy to go 4 straight drafts drafting a skill player. But their receiver room, if you're going to have Kirk Cousins for 2 or 3 years, you need to build a team around him. It's the cheapest way to do it is to get top-tier receiver talent. I get they don't have a pass rush still, but I think you can get like a decent enough – you might be able to trade up in the back half of the first round if you have enough draft capital or, you could get a pretty decent player at 2. Although I will say, there's going to be some decent receivers on the board in the top of the second round.
Yeah.
This is a deep receiver draft.
Another question from our buddy Jeff Williams. What SEC team has the most players drafted tonight? I will say this. I think this will be a year where it's much closer than it has been in years past. I do think it will be Alabama. I think and the reason why is like Dallas Turner is probably going to be top 10. J.C. Latham we've seen now projected anywhere between 5 and 15, and he has very good odds to go in the top 10. And then Terrion Arnold will be a top 15 pick. And here's the thing. The one that was, I thought, the surefire lock going into the season and have been shocked that the number has dropped and his stock has dropped is Kool-Aid McKinstry. He comes out and he runs a 4.40. I mean, that's like you just turn on the tape. Just turn on the tape. Like that kid he has been absolutely shut down for the several years he's there, makes big plays when he needs them. His number has come down to, will he be over under at the 28.5 pick, and the juice is on the under. So I do think they will have 4. Georgia should have 2 or 3. They could sneak in Ladd late in the first. Obviously, Marius Mims, Brock Bowers, and the other one LSU, which is, that's an interesting 3 for sure. 3, yeah. Probably 2 in the top 10. That's an interesting thing to look at later on because it's, I see it bickered about between Bama and Georgia fans a lot. Like if you're, and we see it in the SEC as well, but like, are you doing less with more when you have all these draft picks and like LSU, man, it's hard for some of those. I think it's gonna be hard for some of those fans, Peppers to say, to swallow that. Like in the future of, if that team had a defense, they probably could have competed for a national championship because you're talking about don't start. If you had a defense, you're talking about 3 first-round guys, 2 receivers, and a quarterback. Like that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, offense wasn't a problem, and those 3 guys put up a ton of numbers. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think, and I don't necessarily know along the O-line and D-line, but like what other players they'd even have drafted this year.
For who? LSU?
LSU.
It's
like you have those 3 guys that are going in the first round, and then they might have another player drafted.
No, they'll have another player drafted. Mason Smith will probably go around the 3rd round. He'll be a top 100 guy, and a couple other guys. But yeah, it's surprising because they will have. It's a very top heavy year for LSU. All right, so the plan is most likely, right? We'll come back at the end of the first round. Take through some of our picks, see what where those landed, and then also have our reaction. But you got anything else for the preview?
No. What do you think is going to be the biggest shocking move? You think someone's going to trade up for McCarthy, or do you think somebody? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think anything shocking will happen? Because remember last year, like AJ Brown just got, or like 2 years ago, AJ Brown just got traded to the Eagles in the middle of the draft.
It's the NFL draft. Like I think this is the year we've heard the least. Like there's been so few things we've heard about. It's like where anything bad could happen. I would be shocked if there wasn't something that we're talking about on the post first round show. Because at some point somebody's gonna get trigger happy, jump up, wait, they're gonna overreach. It happens every fucking year. I
wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of high level talent be traded. Like I mentioned earlier, there was a rumor that the Rams could trade Cooper Kupp as part of a package to move up. The Niners are looking at possibly trading Debo. So Bowers. I think that's I think someone is going to try. I think someone's going to trade. I think what ultimately I think will happen is the Broncos might trade down and take Knicks.
Yeah,
later in the first. Because apparently they're in love with him. I don't know why. He kind of looks like he'd fit in Denver.
That's actually a really good point.
I don't know why. I think he just kind of looks like, I don't know, a guy from Denver.
That's fair. Yeah, so I think Blake Bowers makes a good point with the Bo Nix thing. I'll tell you what, like Blake Bowers, dangerously close to Brock Bowers. There are rumors that the Rams are going to trade up and possibly take him. And here's the other thing too, Tyler. Like one thing that I think is going to be super interesting, it happens seemingly every year as of late. there are certain franchises that are in love with certain schools. You see the Eagles that love to take Georgia players. A lot of Bama players.
Used to be the Patriots used to go to the Bama a lot.
Right. So I wonder if that will be something that we see again. And also, we saw that the Eagles have been very active on the first 2 days the last 2 years. So anyway, we appreciate you guys joining in. We're gonna call it. I'm gonna go put some chicken nuggets in the oven. Get ready for round one. I appreciate you joining me. We're going to say this a bunch just because we're trying to build this channel and all that good stuff. But please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. We love you guys, and we will see you a little bit later.
Peace.